But no, I always think when I go to the batting cages and they have like the fastball machines and softball machines, I'm like, who are the softball machines for besides like girl college athletes and kiddish dads? Like only two users of slow pitch softball batting cage machines.
That takes like my whole dream, my whole life, and like totally crushes it in like 3 seconds. I was just stamped
I
on.
played softball in high school. I wasn't good, but we grilled every
Where,
game. Just like
where in high
that.
school?
High school MTA.
Very nice.
Yeah. All right, so we are live for the 111th podcast episode of the
Let's Go podcast, and we are super thankful to have superstar comedian Dovi Neuburger join us. Thank you, Dovi, for taking the time, and let's get right into things.
right into things is that Dovi showed up wearing a cap, and most of the interest was in him showing off his hair, perhaps running his
I showered for the
running.
podcast. Wanted to smell good. My
But
sponsor, PK Hart Jewelry in
I
Chicago.
don't know what that. I don't know what that is. What's that sponsor? What is
I don't
that?
know. They're just friends of mine. They have a jewelry store in Chicago, and I like their hats. So called PK Hart.
PK Hart, got it. So we're very thankful that you're here. Just so everybody knows the background here, we had a Mets postmortem with some good friends from the community, and I said we should do a Yankees postmortem. Somebody said, "Why not?" I said, "Who should do the Yankees postmortem?" Somebody said, "Dovi Neuburger." Dovi Neuburger of comedic fame, and more recently with his viral "Deaf Man in the Stiebel" on his "Deaf Man in the Stiebel" parody.
I've actually liked. I thought the part 2 I wrote for that Deaf Man in the Stiebel, which didn't do well at all. Like the first one got like I don't know, probably like 200,000 views. The second one got maybe like I could look it up, maybe like 50, 60. It's hard to know because there's the Instagram views and then there's like the downloaded like black market Lakewood WhatsApp group views. I have no idea how many views. Like when I talk to like non-Jewish creators and they're like, what are your metrics? I'm like, well, it says like 250,000 views, but that could be like 1.8. Like it's on kosher phones and
Dovi, you know what that's like a little bit? It's like, for us, our business, we very much rely on WhatsApp status because that's like the social media in the Jewish world. So when you see your views on WhatsApp status, you only see the blue checkers. The non-blue checkers, which I hate, by the way, they say ChatGPT says like a 3-to-1. So for every 3 blue checkers who see your status, you have an additional view from the non-blue checkers. So I guess it's similar in that sense.
That is interesting. I mean, people, I'm a non-blue checker, but I happen to agree with you. Like I do, like in the end of the day, like I know that that I read your text and I'm not responding to you. So like I should just be able to blue check it and be like, hey, I'm ignoring you. Which is 80%.
It's a famous battle of insecurity versus I'm just not interested. Like I don't care.
It's not even I'm not interested. It's just like I have too much on my mind to respond, and that like not even that much on my mind. I just like have to brush my teeth and get dressed, and like I like to respond to it. Be crazy right now. Wait, so the Deaf Man and the Stiebel thing. This part 2 of that I wrote, not physically wrote, but like I wrote in my head, just because it was all happening on Yom Kippur. I got like 3 things that happened in the game from a security guard, of course, and not actually a security guard, a Hatzalah guy that had an emergency. And
yeah, I was gonna ask that, but go ahead. I'll finish. I'll ask.
And then I was literally writing it on Yom Kippur, like in my head, like rhyming things, and I had to just like memorize it. And the second like Yom Tov was over, like I bought tickets to the game, like wrote down the lyrics, and then I filmed it outside the game. And I went through all that trial, and like it didn't do nearly as well. But I liked it more actually, the second half.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the second half better. Also, was this bit planned from before Yom Kippur that if the Yankees were going to this was gonna happen? Because when did they move the game? The game was probably moved on. They moved the game the morning of Yom Kippur, no? So you had no clue you were able to even go to the game until after Yom Kippur was over. Am I wrong?
No, someone told me that the game was moved.
On Yom Kippur, yeah, probably someone told you. Got it. It was supposed to be like 5, moved to 8.
Listen, I always say that like you really find out who in your shul goes on their phone in Shabbos, like when something big happens. Like when Trump got shot, this is like I have like a long routine on this, but like when Trump got shot, you found out like who was going on their phone and who wasn't based on how much information they had.
October 7th.
Yeah. Like certain things the security guard just didn't say. Like the security guard didn't tell you that like Trump's like left ear ventricle got pierced. Like he doesn't speak English. He didn't say that. If you knew that, like you went on your phone. I always,
It's
when I
funny.
was
Yeah. Good.
sorry, when I would like, I used to when I was a kid, like I'm a big Knicks and Rangers fan. So when I would walk to shul with my dad or my mom, and like whenever I'd get there, I'd just go to security guard. I'd be like, "Do you know what happened in the Knick game?" And my parents would always be like, "Stop! Like that's not what security guards are here for. Like you'll find out after Shabbos." And then whenever Israel would go to war, my parents would go straight to the security guard and like, "Do you know what's going on in the Middle East?" I'm like, "Okay." So when your team's in the playoffs, suddenly they're not so busy.
It's pretty funny. It's funny you mentioned the illegal downloads. That's how I knew when, not illegal, but those downloads. That's how I knew that Deaf Man in the Shul was really blowing up, because my modern Orthodox friends were sending me the Instagram link to it, saying, "Oh my God, this is so funny." And then my Yeshivish friends who aren't on Instagram started sending me the downloaded version. So I was like, and it says, when it says forwarded many times
Did it say
on
that?
WhatsApp.
I'm sure.
That's when you made it, Toby. That's when
I
you
know.
made it.
Like for years, I had just wanted something to be forwarded too many times.
So and then we get to the Motzei Yom Kippur video in a talus at Yankee Stadium making Havdalah on beer. One of the great all-time bits ever. Something that Jackie Mason could never have even dreamed of pulling off, I think.
Well, Jackie Mason was a conservative rabbi, so he probably could have gone on Shabbos to the. There's a guy. No, I'm kidding. No shade. Jackie Mason. Jackie Mason actually was. All his brothers were like Orthodox rabbis, and I think he was like an Orthodox rabbi of a conservative shul. But there was a guy there on like blowing the shofar. I don't know if you saw that one, like a purple tallis. Also, like came thick, and everyone's like, "This guy beat you." I'm like, purple tallis. I don't know if he bought the tickets like after Yontif like me.
It was a tremendous large in the bleacher creature.
I was so embarrassed. Like I brought my tallis. Like I was so embarrassed. Like I asked somebody to like take a video of me. I thought like everyone was gonna be like so weirded out. I don't even think anyone noticed. It was like there was like a non-Jewish guy next to me, like didn't flinch. He was like, look, like I was like, isn't this weird? He's like, I just thought that's how you guys dress. Like he couldn't like tell the difference between. Like,
It's funny. One of the questions people asked me to ask you, I put it out to our community. What that's Dovi? Somebody said, "Who did you drag along to the game?" There's another guy in the video who looks really happy, a very from Erlicha looking yid.
So I asked a lot of people, and none of my friends were down to come. And then I went downstairs to get a beer to make Havdalah on. And first of all, like Havdalah on beer is just like an all-time like a yeshiva throwback for what's it called, Shabbos Chazon. And I was so excited.
Shabbos Chazon, very good.
And I saw this guy online wearing a yarmulke, and I was like, this guy just came to the game, like he doesn't want anyone to like. But I was like, I need to do it with like another Jew. I was like, hey, I come up to him, I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry to do this. He's like, you're Dovi Neuburger. I'm like, yeah. Like, we saw you, like we saw your story, like that you were here. We were looking for you. And so then I went back to his seats with him. He's a rabbi on the Upper West Side. Great guy, Rabbi Mintz. It was crazy. He actually we figured out that he and my dad, I think he was like either a student of my dad or my dad was his dorm counselor in YU like years ago. And so he was at the game with his son, and I sat with them to make Havdalah. And it was just like an all-time moment.
So you ran into the game. You didn't go with anybody. You went by yourself, and you just happened to run into them.
If I went with someone, I think it would have been much better because I would have had the confidence to like walk in with the tallis and like talk to security guards and more like.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. So the tallis, everything came in the bag, and you pulled it out when you got to your seat.
Yeah, the inhibitions, like when I pulled it out, outside the stadium to film, and then put it back in the bag to get in, and I was sure the security guard was like going to stop me, like what's going on here? Didn't care at all.
Avi, I made the flyer to advertise the podcast, and I put on there somewhat tongue in cheek, Dovi Neuburger Yankee super fan. So one of my friends, Ralph Zone, who's sometimes a cynic, was like, "What makes him a super fan?" So my other buddy Porty's like, "Well, he was at the game Motzei Yom Kippur. I didn't see you there, you know."
I went straight from the Elah. I went to my dad's Ne'ilah in my shul, and then went straight to the game. I'm serious. The truth is, like, I'm not really like I wouldn't call myself a baseball super fan. Like, I don't know like a lot about the league. Like, I know everything about the Yankees, and that's like I watched the highlights. The Yankee game, like nobody watches the full game in like the middle of the season. I pretty much watch the Yankees. Like, I wasn't even it was really when like I stopped going to camp and I needed to fill my summers with something. Like I need something to procrastinate. There's no NBA, NFL, so like I got much more into baseball. Like I guess I went to camp from like 0 to like 24. So like after that, I started getting more into baseball. And I just loved like the drama and the plot lines of everything. There's just like, you know, like Boone and Judge and loyalties. And so like all this, like it felt like a soap opera. So just love being a part of it. I mean,
well, that's one of the interesting things about baseball. Like I tell people, you sort of become friends or family with the players because you watch them every night for an entire year practically. Football, you don't quite spend the same amount of time with the players. There's drama, there's storylines, but it's like the Mets announcer. I'm actually a Mets fan, but the Mets announcers, Garrett, he's the sound of summer. You know, you're always with these people if you're into it. There's something unique about baseball. But from what I understand, you spend, from doing some research, you spend some time at Bergen County Sports Cards with Robert Katz, according to good friend Joey Katz. So, you get anything good over there, or he ripped you off?
I mean, I'm not like really into baseball cards myself. I take my nephews there whenever they're in town from LA. I think the baseball card market, like it's like I'm fascinated by it. I don't like own like a collection at all. There's another guy. So Rob opened a store, like in Bergenfield for baseball, like for sports cards. There's another guy. This is like a little known fact. I hope I'm not outing him, but a guy from Passaic named Probstein. From Guy.
Oh.
He's the number one seller of sports memorabilia on eBay, and like he invited.
You're not outing him. You're not outing him by any means.
I went to his warehouse in Passaic. That operation, I couldn't speak. I was blown away. Just like it's like what's it called? A conveyor, but like a factory line of employees, just like packaging and every single thing you could imagine. Like this guitar was spin on by Taylor Swift and like package it. I just like things I didn't even know were memorabilia. You know what I mean? Like this is like a framed piece of gum, like from the Mets '86 dugout. Like it was chewed by every single one of the players.
How did you end up at his warehouse?
He invited me. He reached out to me he liked my stuff on Instagram. We were talking about doing something, and I came to like tour it. It was like one of the coolest things.
Really interesting. So back to the Yankees. So what went wrong with the Yankee season? This is a Yankees post-mortem.
Okay, like I'm not gonna like hot take. Like I really like I'm not into the like jump on Boone after every game. Like every decision was his fault. Like in the end of the day, like I realized like there were games where like, oh, it's just like it was perfect, just like the bullpen like screwed it up, and then like the starting pitching didn't show up, and then our bats just like it would have been perfect. Like in the end of the day, like in the last series, like nobody showed up, right? Like throughout the playoffs, like there were like games where the bats showed up, but for the most part, it was just a disaster. Judge was great. I hate Judge ripping. Like literally, like it takes all of New York an hour to forget like an amazing game. Like if he goes like he'll go 3 or 4 with 3 RBIs, a home run. Like if he doesn't get a hit the next games, they're like, whoa, what are we even doing for this? Like you'll hear like Steve from Long Island like call into the fan radio like, well, we got to talk about Judge. You know, like the regular season, it doesn't help us that much if you can't show up in the postseason. Just like I'm obsessed with sports radio. Like I could listen to guys.
Same. We had Evan Roberts and Salicata on in the last few months. Evan Roberts last year, Salicata.
Right, I probably know his voice. I don't know them by names. I love like obviously Michael Kay and LaGreca in the middle of the day. That those shows are amazing. What went wrong in the Yankees? I mean, it's like it's not really fair to blame it on injuries because that's part of baseball. But like, do I think if like Judge was healthy the whole time that we get that extra game on the Jays and then we get the bye and home court and home field for the ALDS? Yeah, I think that's huge. If Cole's healthy, do we get him for a couple of games? Like, I just think it's like a totally different season with those two factors, which I really don't hope they don't fire Boone. Like, I think he's the guy. I think they have the pieces. Like he made a couple of questionable calls, but like it easily could have just like gone the other way. And had he not made those calls, we would have been just as pissed at him. I think there was like a sense of like almost like crashing for a test at the end of the season where like we had one of, if not the most talented lineups in terms of like, just bat to ball in the MLB. And there was just like a sense of like laziness almost in the middle of the season was getting away from us. And then when they really needed to like vamp up, they just like got it done. They just like started winning. It was like nice at the end as a Yankee fan, but like it was also kind of frustrating. It was like it kind of feels a little bit like you guys are just mailing it in for a little bit because you could do this. So like, could you just mail it in for less time so we could lock up the 1 seed and get that bye? Like that was like frustrating as a fan.
It sort of felt like that a little bit also.
Even like Volpe with the errors, and like I'm actually a bigger Volpe fan than most people, I think, because like I don't know, he's repped by Charles Turwood. He feels like just like a little yeshivish kid in like a very little league game. You know what I mean?
Oh, he is. I didn't know that.
Yippee excitement to him that he's like, I just want to have fun, play baseball. Like got that to him, but he was just making like he just like wasn't picking up the ball for half the season, and then like crunch time, he started picking up the ball. Like his bat picked up a little bit in the first series, and we're like, why can't you guys just like get your shit together early in the season? That's
yeah. So are you a diehard? You said you only picked up the sport after your 24 years
No,
of camp.
I was always following. I just like the pure boredom of summer, like forcing you to like check in after every game didn't happen. To like, no, I grew up like one of my earliest memories, for sure, earliest sports memories, probably even earliest memories is Boone hitting the walk-off in the game where Pedro Martinez fell apart. That I remember like it was yesterday. Like we had like.
That's why you're a Boone guy. Because that's one of your core memories.
Yeah, that is probably true. That is why I'm a Boone guy. I was probably like 8, maybe. I don't know when.
2004. What year were you born?
96. Right.
Yeah, so you're about 8 years old. Yeah.
So I was 8. I remember the night perfectly. I remember I got 2 hours extra to stay up. As if that, like, my dad was a rabbi. My house was always flying. There was never any bedtime. But my mom, like, pretended. Because they were changing the clocks that night. And it wasn't a school night. I don't know. It was, like, I think it was Saturday night. And we're all...
You guys had a TV? Or you got one or you had a monitor?
We mostly had a monitor for most of my childhood. There were times... This was before, like, they switched over to digital where you had to have cable in order to have TV. So we had a box with knobs on it that, like, we had, like... We would take the dry cleaning hangers, and like one would be an antenna, one would be a dry cleaning hanger. But it was the type that like we're 6 kids and we all had to lie at the right position. Like one guy had to have his foot like on the window, and like if someone moved, like the screen would just go black, and like it would come back up and it'd be like touchdown, like that kind of TV. That was I'm not exaggerating at all. Like everyone had to sit in the right position for the picture.
I grew up yeshivish. I know that extremely well. And you're like, oh, if you hold the thing over here, somehow it's able to connect. Yeah. I have a lot of experience with that.
The car's in the driveway. Everyone like throw like get back in bed like that.
Did you have to make sure to? Okay, so we had different periods in my childhood where sometimes my parents were watching TV, so we would put the channel and the volume back to where we found it. Like they had a TV that they could use.
We were only allowed to watch sports, right? So I remember there was a Kufa where like we didn't have cable. We had like whatever channels like were on my TV that day. It was like 2, 4, 7, 9, 13, 11, right? But there were randomly days where like you found like a 31 for some reason. So I found a channel called Ion Sports. It was like 31 where it had on repeat every day the same women's skiing qualifier for the U.S. Olympic team in like 1993. And for some reason, this channel just played it on repeat. And
it's very niche. It's very niche product.
And it's kind of, and that's technically sports. And I was like, I watch sports. So I would surf, whatever, and I would have my finger on the flashback button, and I hear I hear my parents coming up the steps. I go back, and like, my mom thought I was obsessed with women's skiing in middle school.
It's not and I guess the women's skiing was sneeze enough because it's like a winter sport.
Yeah, for sure.
Women in pants
it's not really there's no like piece of reglaim. I mean, like it's not that's a myth about it.
Speaking of piece of reglaim, so I did a lot of research in the last 2 days. You've been on a whole bunch
let me finish my Boone memory. So we're all sitting around. I have one brother that's like he's like very into like how things work. He's like a little like spacey type, and like he like very creative and loves to like know like how different things work. and he figured out that the TV was on a longer delay than the radio. Like he was listening to the radio, then listening to then like watching TV, and he was trying to figure out the lag. And we're all just like watching the games, like, oh, this is so cool. Like he's back and forth, no one's paying attention to him, and until suddenly we hear on I remember so like it was yesterday. We hear what's his name?
It wasn't John Sterling. Sterling got the call. I think Michael Kay might have had the call on that home run, or
no, neither. Or
Susan Waldman.
No, Sterling was with the Sterling in 2000. We're talking about for Aaron Boone.
Yeah,
Aaron Boone. Well, I forgot his name. Sterling had him as a partner for 1 year.
Oh, he used to do like ESPN radio or something.
It makes sense it wasn't Sterling because you would have etched in your memory what his thing for Boone was, right?
Aaron Boone. That was like the icker.
We just hear it on the radio, like launched into center, and like everyone's going crazy. But we're like a pitch before on the TV. He ruined it for us.
Oh, that is really funny. That is really funny. You missed the moment, the highlight, the peak of it. It was a little like Zecher LeChorban. You couldn't have that perfect kind of. So it's funny. So I did a lot of research in the last couple of days. I watched on a whole bunch of podcasts.
No, they got it wrong. Who says ChatGPT is the bucky of everything?
Oh no! By the way,
it said John Sterling.
Avi, you're the only one who says that.
It wasn't John Sterling. How did they get something so simple wrong?
It's a very typical ChatGPT kind of mistake. But anyway, you have great facility with a lot of halacha, and I saw you on this Boys in the Base podcast, and you're spouting Gemaras, and so you're talking about Reglayim with the tznius, and like you're busting out all these halachas. So you sort of have this posture as a little bit rebellious, but then you're like pulling all these Gemaras out of your back pocket. So it's an interesting contrast.
I don't know if I have a posture as rebellious. I try to keep my religiosity like purposely vague and ambiguous. I just don't want to be like a religious voice. The
deaf man in the shtibel. So the reason I enjoy the deaf man in the shtibel so much is because it takes a song which is it's like the height of purity. It's like so pure. It's that Erev Yom Kippur naked.
Charlie Steiner.
Charlie Steiner.
Avi, we're past it.
sorry. I got two.
Avi's got ADHD, so when he locks in on something, it's hard.
I couldn't move on.
Yeah.
The Boys in the Base podcast is also like a podcast I did with like 12th graders at ULA. Like I made up half those Gemaras. I knew they would.
No, but the Dead Man in the Shiva, it's such like a pure song. It's the Erev Yom Kippur song, and then you replace all these lyrics, and you basically talk about how all you're going to think about on Yom Kippur is the song is the Yankees, and that's the only one. And there's only one judge that matters. The punchline at the end was also a real banger. I tell people, I'm like, you got to watch till the end. You got to watch till the end. So when I say a posture rebellious, it's like it's so satirical. It's so satirical. It's like it sort of paints it as like I'm able to take the thing that's supposed to be so sentimental and so pure, and I'm just going to poke holes in it. And that's what it felt like to me. Like I see it as sort of like a Rebbe's worst nightmare. That's kind of my take on it.
That's interesting. That's definitely not like I was probably from 2nd through 12th grade. Like I was pretty close with every single Rebbe I had. They would definitely not say I was the worst nightmare because I enjoyed learning a lot and I was good at it. I hope most of my Rebbe would confirm that. Like I could tell you every parak, pretty much down to the parak. I would say parak I learned of Masechta I learned from the Haskalas Gemara in 6th grade till, whatever I stopped going to yeshiva, I guess, 3rd or 4th year. But wait, it was interesting. The point, the judge that matters. There is a lot of satire. There's a lot of depth to that. Like I think the song could be understood. Like that part could be understood on a lot of levels. Like
I know.
Fun. For me, there was a very deep nostalgic like. When you're growing up, Derek Jeter was the most yeshivish person of all time because like every Musar schmooze, like whenever they needed an example of a guy, of a celebrity, of a famous person, of like materialism, they always went to Derek Jeter. Every Musar schmooze was about Derek Jeter. Like, you think Derek Jeter cares about you? You wear a shirt with his name on the back. You think he cares about you? Like to me, there was like a Musar schmooze somewhere about kids watching the game and not caring about Yom Kippur. And some Rebbe thought he was the smartest guy in the world because he realized that Judge's last name and the judge, and he had a whole shtickle on like the only judge you should care about. So that was what the Tief guide in the last line. That's really what I was thinking. I was like, I was trying to imitate that like nostalgic Musser Schmooze, like the only one judge. Like I could see, I don't know, I could see a high school rabbi thinking that he's the most clever person in the world for realizing that. Yeah,
for sure.
It was like I once heard an amazing story. I forgot which camp it happened. It was like in my brother. I forgot which camp it was. We'll call it for. We'll just call it like Ray Masifta or Mugganoff, whatever. Just like one of those camps. And
that's probably like, you just quoted two totally different. Like Mugganoff's like super Chavetz Chaim, and like Ray Masifta is like super yeshivish. Like
in the spectrum of the world, if you had to plot on a graph like the spectrum of Jews, like those are pretty much on top of it. To us, they seem very different, but
right. True.
And there was just there's a kid going into learning groups. I hope it's a true story. It might not be true. It might not have happened, but it's definitely true. He's wearing an A-Rod jersey, and he gets to shear in camp, and his Rebbe goes, "What are you wearing that for? You think Alex Rodriguez wears a shirt with your name on the back of it? You think he's wearing a shirt that says your name on the back of it?" And the kid goes, "Rebbe, you think Rav Moshe has a picture of you in his dining room?"
That's funny. It's great. So that whole side of you, I don't know. It's interesting. You got along really well with all your Rebbeim. It's interesting.
Family's all I come from a family like my dad's a rabbi, my brothers are rabbis, so my uncles are rabbis, and I didn't really grow up yeshivish. Like I kind of grew up like in a confused like middle ground because I went to like modern Orthodox schools, but my family was more yeshivish. But I really don't mean for it to come like there's definitely a cynicism, but there's also like a deep appreciation and like understanding for like how like weirdly special it is to me in like a messed up kind of love-hate relationship way, where I feel like a lot of like ex-yeshiva guys like relationship to, and I don't mean ex like no longer religion, I just mean like guys who let's say like are different than when they were in yeshiva, like their relationship to like Yiddishkeit specifically is like an older brother. Like anyone else rips on it in the wrong way, they get very defensive. Like you don't know what you're talking about. You never learned in your life. You have no idea. Like if like an ex-yeshiva guy hears like a random like Christian supremacist or a guy online like ripping on Jews and like if the Talmud says this, they get very defensive. Like this guy's an idiot. He's never went to yeshiva. He doesn't know anything about Gemara. Like only I am allowed to rip on my religion. Okay, it's like we'll make fun of like the things are bad the whole day, but the second like someone from the outside steps in and starts making fun of like, what do you say? Get out of here. This is why you're wrong. Like I find that like that's a unique relationship.
Yeah. So Dovi, what when I reached out to you, I just want to tell everybody it was really, really nice. Dovi, I sort of pitched it and Dovi said he'd come on. I was like, oh great, I was thrilled. A lot of my family are big fans of yours. A lot of people I know actually are really enjoying your content right now.
Thanks.
You're very, very popular in a lot of circles I'm in. Yeah.
I'm not really good yet at accepting compliments. I'm getting used to. I appreciate it.
That was actually a home run, except for the fact that you said you're not good at it. You didn't need to negate it. You didn't negate it at all. You didn't go like. Anyway, so what were your criteria for accepting to come on? I mean, I see you're basically performing everywhere now, all at once. You're opening this comedy club. Oh, shout out to Daniel Goldfarb, plays in our basketball league. I know you've been at the cheese store. Yeah.
Daniel plays basketball.
He's great. A great player and a super
Daniel's
intense
like
player.
The modern day Draymond Green a little bit. His stat line every game is like, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, or like 9 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists every single game.
So risky, like a Draymond Green is such a polarizing.
Dirty.
No, he's just such a polarizing player. Like some people think he's like the greatest, like maximization of skill set of all time, and some people think he's just been riding like the most talented players in history. But
anyway, so what were your so I reach out to you on Instagram. What are your criteria for going on a podcast now?
Oh, there's no criteria. It was like right place, right time. Like if you texted me like the next day, I easily could have like I don't know, texted me, said the right things. Like I was in like a bad mood about the Yankees, and like I felt nice that someone was like commiserating with me. Just said it, like yeah. a very bad
Dovi's not the first person who, when we asked why they came on the podcast, said you got him at the right time. So you really have something that's really.
You had a lot.
We had some
not that like I'm
characters.
such a person to get on a podcast, but like there's 15 of these I said no to probably a week before it.
Dovi, we got someone else who plays in our adult leagues. He's an enigma. We call him. It's very hard to get a read on him. He's a tremendously talented pitcher, and in our softball
Tremendously talented softball pitcher.
Yeah, I knew that.
I don't know. I knew that. Tremendously talented.
No, tremendously talented. In our world of softball, though, where we come from, which is, by the way, modified softball is by far, and once you get past high school and base measures and you're 21 to 55 years old, modified softball is the most dominant organized sport in the Jewish sports world. It's not even close. Basketball, high school, yeshiva league is huge, and football, yeshiva league is huge. Once you get to 21, 23, 24, nothing comes close to softball. So yes, Dovi.
Are you in your league? Are you allowed to like wind up like the girl pitchers?
No. I gotta have 1 foot on the mound, the whole time. And you gotta pitch it underhand, no sidearm, no. And it's this guy's enigma.
You
got on the podcast.
No curveballs.
Yeah, but you gotta twist the way you grip the ball, but you can't like come in sideways with your arm. You gotta come in straight from underneath. This guy was.
Do you play any recreational sports these days?
Not anymore. I play basketball.
Where do you
like?
Where do you live currently? Maybe we can get you set up with an HSL product.
I just moved out of the city. About a month, my apartment got sold. So right now, I was supposed to live in Jersey, didn't work out. So right now I'm home, which is also Jersey and Teaneck. What do you mean an HSL product? So we're
trying to add to our list of celebrity Jews who play in our league. So, it gives us a lot of social clout and social currency. So,
can I be pitcher's helper?
So the only thing we have going on in New Jersey is we have a football tournament that's right before Pesach called the Gridiron Gauntlet. You heard of Project Ezra?
Sure, I did a show for them.
Yeah, it's a reveal. This year we're fundraising. Actually, I'm revealing it on the podcast. I should have waited, but we're fundraising on behalf of them this year for that football
I did a fundraiser
tournament
for them recently. Great show.
Oh yeah. You did the young couples night or something. Rachel Chris,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she told me. Yeah. It was very well received. Speaking of which, my brother Moshe was there. He's also a huge fan of yours. So he's the opposite of you. He's a lawyer who wants to become a comedian. You have any advice for him? He doesn't actually want to become a comedian, but he's like, once I make enough money, I'm going to leave and do stand-up.
I've heard a lot of those before. I don't know your brother-in-law. I'm sure he's a great guy.
Brother.
Your brother.
Yeah.
All I would say is that if there's a heaven for comedians, which if there is, it's very small based on the comics I've met. Heaven for comedian is a stadium, the size of MetLife Stadium, full of every person, like for sure every person you've ever met, every person you've never met, every person that's followed you, every person that's ever said anything mean to you, and any person that ever came up to you in shul and said that they could be a comedian gets up and does 5 minutes of stand-up, and every single one of them bombs for 5 minutes.
That's the heaven for comedians.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay, leaving it at that. Avi,
I went to law school, so maybe there's a big correlation between lawyers
and comedy.
I mean, I went to law school for a semester. I dropped out, but
it says in your Instagram profile, NYU Law
one. Dimitri Martin also went to NYU Law and dropped out. So
who?
Dropped out. Dimitri Martin, who's a very famous comedian.
Okay, Ellie Race comments on YouTube. He says Dovi is an MSLer, not an HSLer. Okay, whatever.
Dovi, do you know who this Ellie Race fellow is?
I met him once or twice. I heard he made a lot of errors this year, though.
It sounds like it.
It's very much like Ellie. It makes a lot of sense.
Famously, we had an all-star game, MSL and HSL, and one of our HSL celebrities
right now.
Yeah, we're live on YouTube. Yeah, sorry if I didn't tell you. Yeah. One of our HSL celebrities, Steve Pollen, he struck out Ellie Race looking. It was a very deeply.
Wait, one second.
Only Ellie Race. Only Ellie Race was the first guy to strike out in years.
Wait, is there video?
There's video.
And the Kiddush, yeah.
Can we play it? Can we play it now?
If Avi finds it.
Listen, you asked me what got me on this podcast. If you had just DM'd me, hey, we have a video of Ellie Race striking out, we'll give it to you. If you go on the podcast, I would have taken that.
The biggest Kiddush of it all was that he struck out looking. that was like in Fight Club, there's one rule of Fight Club: you don't talk
There's no
about
way
Fight
he
Club.
went down without a fight. He was probably like that. The ref's anti-Semitic.
And
Yeah,
the funniest part was it was an MSL umpire who
Well, this was in the
out.
All-Star game.
Yeah, we brought one of our guys. They had one of their guys, and his own guy who just pumped him out on the.
And everybody agreed that our the HSL Queens 5 Towns ump, was a lot stronger than the MSL ump. Quiet, Avi.
I'm gonna need that video, Avi.
I'm gonna get it. I'm getting it right now.
While he's pulling up the video, Dovi, I got to ask a question from my mother-in-law, who was a parishioner of your father's at Einstein like 40 years ago. She wanted to know in your comedy, is there anything off limits? Anything you won't do?
Yeah. There is. I mean, I've taken videos down. One of the most frustrating parts about creating content for Orthodox Jews is that I love them, but they suck. And without fail, like every video gets at least one. Like, I really think you should take this down. I usually don't. There's like,
why do you repost that hate, by the way, on Instagram? I see you always reposting the comments.
The last couple of days, you were.
I love that. I love that. First of all, that's just the way our brains work. Like, I ignore like close to 90%, if not more, of my DMs. But if you DM me something like really mean, I just like can't ignore it. Like, it's just like the fight in me, and it's good for the algorithm. Like, drama and beef is like just like really good for retention and engagement. And like usually I have something funny to say back. Like, people didn't hate me, like they would never talk about me. I think that's my. I got in a fight yesterday with someone in a cafe. She was really mad about something I said in a video about. She was really mad. She was respectful. She actually was very respectful. I was not respectful back because I was just triggered, and that was my fault. She had a respectful complaint about like me talking about Hasidic women shaving their heads, that I shouldn't talk about that publicly, and I mentioned it Kilachar Yad in
Kilachar Yad
when I was making fun of a classic Jewish mom at a Yishai Rebo concert, like talking about how there's every kind of Jew. I was like, I'm making fun of the person that's saying this. Anyway.
I know the bit. It's a great bit. And I'm glad that you did a new one for the Omer Adam. It's great.
Yeah. But the Omer Adam one, by the way, we're going to get back to this story. I don't know if you guys have to run, but let me know how much time I have left.
No, Dovi, you have no idea how many things I canceled for this. Only one thing, but I did cancel. And I had to, it was important.
Until I find this Ellie Race video.
Wait, Avi, it was important enough that I had to, Avi, what I can't.
Like, all right. Guys, it was actually John Sterling. I made a mistake. ChatGPT was right.
I just came across the video of you holding your little baby girl a couple months ago. I still can't find the Ellie Race one.
Wait, so Dovi, continue. Sorry for interrupting.
So like people, Orthodox people.
Wait, the Omer Adam thing. You were going to say something about the Omer Adam.
Right. No, Orthodox people look at my content all the time. There's no way anyone that didn't grow up from like understands any of this, and it's so not true. Like, secular Jews know way more than we give them credit for. I shouldn't even say secular. Non-Orthodox observant Jews know way more and are way more involved. Our lives are way more similar to them than we think. I get tons of DMs and comments from people. I mean, there's like non-Jews that like appreciate it, I guess, because they just like live in New York. But the Omer Adam reel was actually, this was like a crazy, this was like a real highlight of my career when I got the notification that Seinfeld's wife liked the reel.
You didn't post that though, did you?
No, I didn't, because I didn't want to be that guy. I posted it when Deborah Messing liked it because I had something funny to say. Like I was mad at, like, whatever. She was in one of my favorite chick flick of all time, Along Came Polly. Amazing movie. So, but if I don't want to just like, obviously I want to post the clout. Like, obviously I want people to know that Seinfeld's wife like the real, but like I don't want to like be dumb about it and like just like, hey, here's someone famous that liked it. I want to like think of a clever way to do it. But anyway, this lady
like here. So if I I'll screen grab this and tag you on Instagram.
Yeah, got it. You didn't clip it, Dave, so I have to go back to the live stream and I got it. So now I could clip it.
Are you? You're gonna hold it up to the screen.
You're gonna hold it up.
Should I hold it up?
I could play it on. I could play it on the Avi. I could play it on there if you send it to me.
Oh, you walked back across. You went to the wrong dugout. Oh, that's a different guy. Okay.
No, that's an X-Matter.
That's an X-Matter.
You guys with your socks and your pants. I gotta come to some more games.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we do the All-Star game again, we'd love to have you throw out the first pitch or something,
The
anything to.
first novel, my George Bush after 9/11.
That's right. So tell us about the fight that you had yesterday.
Oh no! So basically, so she was very upset about that, and she said it's very offensive. I said a couple of things. First of all, it's not offensive. I didn't say anything about it. I just stated it as a fact, and it is a fact. She said, but you shouldn't be talking about it publicly. I'm like, it is a public fact. People know that there are Hasidic women that shave their heads. I didn't say anything negative about that. Like honestly, for them and their culture, I'm sure it's beautiful. Personally, it's not my thing, but I didn't even say anything bad about it, and it's like very much like something that Hasidic Rabbanim probably talk about. But also, I said like I don't like anytime someone complains to me that's something offensive, right? I'm like what is your I don't know the non-Jewish word for this, but like what's your hanacha? Like what do you want out of this? What do you think should be the rule? That I should never say anything that's offensive? Okay, so then there's no such thing as comedy. Meaning, I said to her, I said like I have 12 videos I could point to right now that you probably think are funny that you probably commented on a laughing emoji where I make fun of like SAR kids or I make fun of like modern Orthodox moms or this kind of Jew or that kind of non-Jew, whatever, and you just think it's like you only find it offensive, and it's not a rule on her, but like when I posted a joke about like SAR, I got like DMs from like angry SAR, like you really should not be making fun of other Jews during this. They always blame it on October 7th. Everything's like if your dentist like overcharges you now, you're like, how could like do you not see what's going on in Israel? Like how could you do that to another Jew at this time? Like stop blaming things on like a war in Israel, right? Like we could have a normal fight in America, like we like Jews have fought with each other for thousands of years. It's not about Israel. So they always do that, which bothers just like a side pet peeve. And she's like, at a time like this, like you really shouldn't be coming after other Jews. And like I'll click on that person's account, look at like shared interactions, and any video I'm making fun of like Beis Yaakov girls or Hasidim, they comment like they think it's the funniest thing in the world. I'm like, wait a second, other Jews? Like you think this is funny, and this was clearly offensive to Beis Yaakov girls. So like you just don't want me to make fun of Jews that look like you. And basically, if I go through every single one of my rules, I promise you I can find a group of people that would find it offensive. So if your hanacha is that anything that anyone finds offensive, I shouldn't be able to post. Okay, then you just then don't say you find me offensive. Say you just don't believe in laughing. You don't believe in comedy. You don't believe.
Did you say this all to her?
I was about to shoot a video and I was like mad in the moment, so I wasn't nearly as articulate. But also some of it was her fault because like when I was like explaining it to her, she like kept on like moving away from the argument to like kind of sidetrack. But yeah, I think I got this.
How does that work, Dovi? You don't even know who this lady is. She just walks over to you and just.
No.
It's such a wild.
Way more inappropriate than she was.
Avi and I run these sports leagues. We take tons of complaints, but we have paying customers. People complain. You were talking to Dovi before we started about you're amazed how these sports leagues have blown up. These Jewish sports leagues. People are so passionate. We love it. So intense about it. It's a lot of controversy, a lot of fighting. They're paying customers. It's astonishing to me that a woman who consumes your content for free on Instagram, like where's
you wanted me to know that like Hasidic women find this offensive.
Thank you. she was doing a chesed. She's doing a chesed for you, but like, where's the audacity?
Everyone frames it that way. Like everyone, anytime someone like gets mad at you for something, like I'm just telling you for your own good. I'm just giving you advice. I'm like, I don't want your advice. Mm-hmm. You guys have you ever had to like suspend someone?
Yeah.
Really? Are there like fines in HSL and stuff?
Sports leagues are a cutthroat business. I'm saying it's sort of like sarcastic, but it's not sarcastic. It's really tough. Like I'll put it up there with like your top lawyers in the world, and you're like, I really would. I would. Don't shake your head. I would do it.
No, but like, what's someone getting like
70-hour a week?
Is Ellie Race like in a post game conference like saying 6 million people didn't die in the Holocaust, and he's getting suspended by like HSL? Like what?
No. You're getting you're getting suspended. Physical altercations, cursing out an ump.
It's not only physical.
I said physical altercations.
It's not only physical. That's not true.
No,
you mean verbal altercation
or
cursing at an ump. Cursing at another player, you're probably not getting suspended.
Even out of the game, there are situations, and if we find out someone's going around to people telling us specific things about the HSL product that we feel like has legitimately could detrimental to our product, there is a situation where we could threaten to not allow them to play in leagues.
Yeah, that's also true. That wasn't what Dovi was referring to, but yeah, I get it.
No, I got it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, players are very intense, and also Dovi, you're talking about the sports leagues blowing up. I think we don't have to talk about the pressures of the Frum family and the finances and this and that. And you have people showing up. They lay it all out on the ball field, on the basketball court. They people,
Right.
people are hawking. I captain a lot of teams. Avi captains a lot of teams. You could be you're hawking strategy all week.
I captain
Avi,
championship teams.
Wait, is there? Do you ever have to tell a player like he can't play anymore because like he just
He's not
sucks?
good
Like,
enough.
yeah, does that ever happen?
I had to. Well, now especially. It's a couple
No,
of
the answer is not really, Avi.
well, you have to. It's a very complicated situation. You got to offer him a refund, and you got to do it very gently. I've done that a couple times since we
You
started.
did?
Yeah, and our HSL Summer Sunday League 2 years ago. Our first Summer
Avi, those
Sunday
decisions have to go through me.
The worst, like Zelle, like getting a
It
Zelle
was.
to your phone from a refund because
Dovi
you're
was
not
actually
good
even
enough
worse.
to pay in
It was actually even
Orthodox
worse.
Jewish men's softball league.
It was even
Probably
worse.
the
Dovi.
worst money you ever made in your life.
It was even worse. It was even worse. I actually never zelled him. What I did was I gave him 2 free softball lessons on a Sunday after my game, and instead of refunding him, I just gave him 2 free softball lessons,
That's
and
funny.
the guy never showed his face again. I said, "Oh, come back next season, you'll be better." He never reached back out. It's been 2
All
years.
right, Dovi. Before we let you go, how did you meet Modi? I watched your 3 podcasts with him. You guys have amazing chemistry. How did you get in touch with him? How did that start?
Well, I started posting to Instagram consistently like less than a year ago. What like basically my first video that I wouldn't say went viral, like that did very well, that like blew up, was a video I did about hit like where I mentioned him and like talking.
They
about
don't pay more for that. They don't. They don't pay more for that video.
He doesn't
Yeah.
pay more for that video.
Modi loved that. Oh, he loved that in that
So
podcast.
he started following me on Instagram after that and just like liking a bunch of
Mm.
content. His producer reached out to me a bunch of months ago, asked me if I would come on the podcast, and it was great. I think I mean, obviously the opportunity for me is amazing. Like to talk to someone that's been doing stand up at like a really high level, and like not just Jewish stand up. Like now people think of Modi as like the Jewish comedian. Like that's definitely hit his brand, and I think he's proud of that. But like the guy was passed again. I don't know if you guys understand terminology. The guy was passed at the Comedy Cellar in 1994, which that's like close to 30 years playing at basically the best comedy club in the world. The people, like anyone who's anyone, went through those doors. He's been on shows with some of the biggest names of all time, and like being exposed to that level of expertise for me is like a crazy opportunity. He actually just like he did a guest spot on my show in the cheese store. He popped in.
I saw that.
And did like 20 minutes. Meant a lot to me. But for him, I think it's fun, to like dip back into that like very niche, like almost Heimish world of like Jewish comedy, which he built a lot, like started building his career, and like he did a ton of like Shabbat Brachos and Hasidish gigs and things like that. And now he's like obviously a lot bigger than that, but I think there's like a big piece of like nostalgia for him, and he enjoys it a lot. So I hope I'm able to provide that. And so we did that.
He's
one.
very in the podcasts. He's very nurturing towards you. Like he's like giving you advice. He's like really like interested in your success. It's like an interest. I think that's part of why the chemistry is very good.
Well, yeah, he's also like at a point in his career where he's like, I would say, post cynical. Like comics are known to be very like cynical.
You mentioned
like,
that.
I'm very negative, and I feel like I remember in his career when he was more cynical.
Although he's got his whole Mashiach energy thing now. He's
and I think he's at the point where like he's really come to like a point of like ultimate positivity and like what comedy is and what it's there for in like a cosmic religious sense, which I'm not at yet. But I have to say, as cynical as I am, like I think there is something, like I look at older comedians, I'm not going to say who, but like sometimes I'll watch podcasts from comedians who kind of like became the bad guy that they were portraying. Like they were just like, you need a very cynical angle when you're a comedian. Like everything's stupid, everyone's full of it. Like nobody's authentic, and like you're making fun of contradictions within people. But then like if you really like talk into yourself so much, you will like change your brain eventually to like become the monster that you don't want to become. And then like a lot of them just like grow into old age and die like angry, cynical people because like that's what they've been preaching in like their whole life, even though it was like in a comedic sense, like you become it. And like when I would look at him and see like he totally did the opposite. Like he really believes in comedy as like a force of cosmic good, which I'm definitely not at yet. I just do it because I like it and it gives me attention. Um, but it's fun. I think it's good for me to see that like horizon almost like that is like you want to get to a point where you're so secure and like you're successful that you could like be like, all right, it's time to have a good time and like see this in a more positive light.
All right, so Dovi, before we that was very nice. Before we close it out, I just want to, of course, now we have the opportunity to have Dovi Neuburger, the super popular comedian sensation. As any good Jewish company, of course, besides the players and all the amazing participants we have in our sports leagues, we also have a lot of very valuable sponsors. And knowing that, of course, this podcast is going to blow up to the thousands of views we're going to get, given Dovi's history of coming on podcasts, we want to shout out our main corporate sponsors. First of all, of course, a huge shout out to Town Appliance, the official corporate sponsor of the HSL. We also want to shout out Twillery, of course, as always, wearing the Twillery long sleeve.
What's that?
Oh, and interrupt for a second. Dovi, I found out about you actually from
The modeling.
Twillery. But before I saw the comedy, I saw the Twillery
Modeling.
ski.
It's not modeling.
What do you call it?
Just big distinction there. It's content creation. My mom doesn't like that word, modeling.
Fair enough.
I guess when you're on the skis, it's different than when you're on the floor.
Avi, and who are the other sponsors?
Yeah, who are the other sponsors? There's one thing I forgot. One thing I want to pose a question to the audience because there's something I was talking about. I wanted to talk about on this podcast. I actually wrote it down. But
okay,
yeah,
so let me get to the other sponsors quickly. We also want to thank Smash House. Smash House is a very, very large and big sponsor of HSL.
Side of your cap, Avi. Side of your cap.
Bang, and Town Appliance. And then, of course, we also want to thank Annie's Kitchen, another tremendously amazing partner. Main Street, legendary restaurant, Chinese food. Get it. If you're in Queens, you got to stop by. Eyal is the sweetest, nicest guy, and we appreciate his partnership. Dovi, you have the floor. Go ahead.
This is what I'm trying to figure out. I was talking about it with two of my friends. Shout out Barry Klein, Mason Wedgel. I want to. They were discussing like there's never been. You know the bullpen catcher, the guy that warms up the pitchers in the bullpen.
I know them because Zach Hampel is like best friends with like every single bullpen catcher. And
there has never been. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope they're wrong about this, but they looked for it. There's never been in a Hall of Fame speech anyone to thank a bullpen catcher. Now, put this in perspective for a second. Think about like Mariano Rivera, just for example, right? How many seasons did Mariano Rivera play in the Yankees?
I would guess 15.
15.
Maybe even more.
162 games, right? Spring training, like mandatory warm-ups before that. He's probably pitching close to 100 of those games, right? Not including playoffs, all those things. You sit in the
spring
bullpen,
training.
But even the games he's not like warming up with them. You sit in the bullpen 3-4 hours a day. People don't realize this. Baseball players go to work more than accountants. Anyone. Yeah. They work every single night. You're just in there 3-4 hours with the same person every day. 100 games a year. No, sorry, 162 games. So you're there. Spring training. 15 years in a row. Just whipping 90-mile-an-hour fastballs at their face. And they're just crouching down, getting sciatica and who knows what diseases in their knees. For you to go out there and make $50 million a year and go to the Hall of Fame. And there's not one record. There's not one on-camera record of a pitcher thanking a bullpen catcher. It is very bizarre to me.
So one second, you watched every pitcher?
No, I did. This was like brought up, but this was prime Shabbos table conversation. It only exists on Shabbos because you would just look it up.
First of all, a good friend of mine, Shlomo Zamek, following along on YouTube, said he needs a shout out. So we gave him a shout out. He's in Israel. We love Zamek.
Tell Shlomo Zamek to find a video of a pitcher being inducted into the Hall of Fame and naming a bullpen catcher that helped.
Your point is making me feel sort of bad for all the bullpen catchers, and It's interesting, Mariner.
How much do they get paid, these bullpen catchers?
I would think a couple hundred G's. I mean, they're traveling.
A couple $100,000? Not a chance. Not a chance.
You don't think so?
No, they're not making more than minor league players.
Minor league players are making like $60,000-$70,000. No way they're making.
Not at the lower levels. Not at the lower levels.
No, not even.
It's also interesting because Mariano Rivera in particular is an interesting one to pick on because he's such like a humble, gracious guy.
I didn't mean to pick on him. I just meant conceptually.
No, but it's interesting. But the point is even more well taken.
He's just like it's a closer that was with one team for 15 years. So like you could say like he was with but there's other ones.
So do you have a takeaway
Clemens,
from him?
Pettit, whatever it is. I mean, they're not.
Fred Maddox thanked all the catchers I ever threw to. Mariano Rivera quote every catcher who ever caught me. Tom Glavine said bullpen catchers, coaches, trainers, clubhouse guys.
I want the name of a guy.
He wants to name.
ChatGPT says never. ChatGPT says no whole.
Dovi, what's your takeaway? Dovi, what's your takeaway from here? What's your take? What's the Musser Haskell?
I don't know what the Musser Haskell is. It's just it really is bizarre to me. Like not even that like saying like all the bullpen catchers that ever like you're just covering your bases. This should be like, why is there not one Hall of Fame pitcher that his best friend for life was his bullpen catcher? Like, you sit next to him for 4 hours a night, 180 nights in a row. If you're in the playoffs, 180 nights in a row for 15 years. Either that should be your best friend, or you should kill each other.
The same thing about like an assistant.
You spend more time with him than your wife, easily.
You could say probably the same thing about an assistant manager, no, or like a bench coach, or you don't think that's the same thing? For the managers standing next to them, and they're like they're always next to each other every single game for every I
think we hear about those guys. Those guys eventually become batting coaches and managers.
Joe Torre for sure mentioned Don Zimmer when he got elected into the Hall of Fame.
For sure Don Mattingly is the hitting coach for the Yankees. Like that.
Dovi, what position did you play in your sports prime? Baseball, softball.
Baseball, like I was in like one of these like I played Bergenfield Police Athletic League. Which I felt like so cool because like I played with Guy, but it was just because we didn't have like enough juice for the league yet. I played. I definitely pitched also.
Ooh, I need a pitcher Monday night.
No, this was baseball.
Is it real?
I would love to. You need where are you playing Monday night?
North Woodmere Park. It's a bit of a schlep, but if
North Woodmere, I don't know.
I'll get you, Matt.
Dovi, it's a very serious competitive league. Softball world.
I haven't played it in a while. I would for sure go to the cage before.
How do your skills
I would want to do. I want to pay someone to like fix my stance and like work with me on the tee and then like slow pitch. And,
gotcha. You need to really work at it to get back in. All right. Well, this has been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to get your address to send you some HSL swag for coming on the show. Hope to see you.
I played on second base. That's the most you should.
So is that short center field? Dovi, I'm ashamed to admit, since you've been knocking softball the whole time, that we have that position. He doesn't stand on second base, but we call it short. Yeah, we have 4 outfielders. So they, depending on the batter, they move around, the power hitters, they do 4 in the outfield. The less powerful, they'll come in. Not quite a lineup card. It's posted in a WhatsApp. Oh, Avi, actually, when I was on your team and I used to bring the marker board, people really liked that, actually. Yeah. I have a marker board, and we'd hang it up on the dugout so people could refer to it. People always...
I'm telling you, people, you have 55-year-old men on the softball field who take the games more serious than their job of being a lawyer, an accountant, an actuary. It's extremely, especially the higher. We have a bunch of level leagues. The higher level league, Dovi, it's super intense.
Yeah. Do you like that kind of humor? Oh, really? That's one of your favorite accounts. It's Keith. You don't. What do you think about that? Is so funny. I find it so cringy. I don't know what it is.
Dave, I'm picturing Steve Pollen on the mound. Super locked in, and Dovi shouting from behind the dugout. Oh man, what a scene that would be!
You bum, yeah, you bum.
That's a great bit with the set. Oh, that's what you're referring to with the Giants. That's
he does a lot of teams. He goes to a lot of games.
No, I didn't put name to video. I love that guy. He's awesome. Yeah.
So it would be like, hey, I heard you only wear. I heard you. I'm not the comedian. I'm not going to try. Dovi, what's your insult? What's your insult when you're at your HSL game?
Is that how you do? Is that how you do most of your stuff? By the way, it's pen to paper? Or is it finger to note?
You keep your stand-up stuff hidden. You don't post a lot of it. That's because you want people to pay to hire you. Is that the idea?
Chashivas?
How's the wrong floor going so far? Oh, you're closing up shop. Hasidim. That's a shame. I see that every shul every shul right now has a flyer. Come see us. I'm on Instagram. They just feed it to me. You're at West Hempstead PTA. You're at Young Israel of Great Neck. You're at I don't know, somewhere in Westchester. It's like
Dovi, plug your stuff here.
Chicago.
Right, I was gonna say.
Busy. Do any gigs excite you these days? Really, every single one. Yeah, Modi got a big kick out of those. It was so interesting to listen to that podcast where you're talking about specific bungalow colonies. I haven't been to a bungalow colony in so many years. And he brought up like the casino, the concept of a casino, which it was such a blast from my past. But then is that OBBL? Orthodox Bungalow Base? What's Willow Woods?
Well, it's the bungalow colony. I have a lot of friends who go there.
It was probably OBBL. OBBL is the Orthodox Bungalow Base.
Dave, Willow Woods and West Park, where Sach goes. Those are like the two, like, there's a couple new ones open up, but those are like the two, like, how do you describe it, Dovi? Those are the two,
Spitzy?
Yeah, they're like the king of the crop when it comes to upstate. Yeah, there's another new one. I forgot the name. Also, like right off of Willow Woods, a smaller one. Which one? Oh no, Regency's been around for a while. Regency's also very hush, but they're not a Willow Woods or a West Park. Willow Woods and West Park are like the two. The Michael Jordan.
Speaking of Sach, when
Luxor's very chashuv. It's not like spit. What's spitz? It's like very chashuv. It's very fancy. Willow Woods and West Park are like, if you're super cool and wealthy and like have the money and you're also like really popular, you're going to Willow Woods or West Park. That's like the.
Speaking of Sach, when he found out you were coming on, Dovi, he said, "Good luck keeping up with Neuburger. He's very talented and quick," which is very high praise if you know this guy, because he is a bright guy. He's a lawyer. He's yeah. Oh, you took that compliment really well. That's funny. So anyway, what I was just saying with Modi was it was interesting to hear him reminisce about these casinos that he was, in the bungalow kind, like remembering the layout, and he hasn't been there in a couple of decades. And like you're like hockey, they don't change the layout. Oh, really? It was just an really interesting listen. Have you guys considered doing a recurring podcast together? It'd be interesting.
He has his own podcast. No, doesn't he?
He has a podcast. He had Dovi on 3 times, and I'm not a devotee of Modi. I actually got introduced to him more through Dovi in the last couple of days. Very funny, Modi. The people in the comments were like, Dovi's the best guest that Modi has. You should have him on every time. It was interesting. I don't know if you read. Okay. Well, maybe you're kind of a big deal.
Dave, I'm getting excited about what our view count's going to be. Dovi, you think you could break the all-time record for the most views we've ever gotten on our podcast?
It's actually the Schwartz brothers. It doesn't really count. We had these Hasidic kids on with a huge WhatsApp following. We had like 1,100 views. That was our biggest. But the funny thing is, how
1.2 now. We're at 1.2 now.
I don't know if you use YouTube ever. You can see how long people are watching for. 1,000. YouTube writes it. I think YouTube writes it that way. YouTube has
writes it 1.2.
Yeah. We're not in your Madriga, so we're dealing with different metrics.
Wait, 1.2 is what? Is 1,200,000?
That's usually what people mean when they say 1.2. That's usually how people don't usually put it that way.
Okay.
Incredibly, so Avi started to tell the story before we didn't finish. There's this guy, this enigmatic pitcher, who I texted him to come on our pod.
It was a great story. It was what Dovi was saying.
He was drunk on a plane. And he agreed to come on. And then when we had him on the pod, he's like, I only agreed because I was like 4 tequilas in, like 20 minutes into my flight. So he, interestingly, is our most viewed at like, what are we at, 600-700 with him?
750, I think, outside of the Schwartz brothers. Yeah.
So we have a very niche, we have a very niche podcast, but we have devoted listeners, which is unbelievable. We love it.
Dovi, do you know who Frank the Tank is from Barstool Sports? We had Frank the Tank on. That was a good podcast. He was good. He did one of his biting the thing for like 12 seconds. That went pretty viral on that clip. We clipped that.
What does went pretty viral mean? It was getting forwarded. It was getting forwarded many times on WhatsApp. It got the forwarded many times notification. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Of course.
Riverside does it very well. Riverside handles it.
We like to say we get 100 to 200 to 300, let's say, views per podcast, but they're super dedicated, consistent, obsessive views. You know, it's not like most of our views are people who are watching a large chunk of our podcast. It's not like when we get to the 1.2, the 1,000, 1,200 type, then you're dealing with a lot of people who are tuning in for 12 seconds and tuning off. But we have our consistent 1 to 300 people every single podcast are basically watching.
How do you do your video edits, Dovi? The content that you make where you have the different pictures popping in the middle. You have somebody doing that for you yet, or you just, yeah, I was wow, that's rough. Yeah, hopefully.
We were
I don't know
very
if
into algorithms for a while, and then we got burnt out of it. We posted clips of all of the big highlights from our different sports leagues.
We were doing YouTube Shorts, and it was weird. Some of our YouTube Shorts were getting like 10,000 views on it, but then it stopped. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. I didn't really understand it. I mean, the algorithm, if they decide, if you have a 3-point shoot, a nice 3-point shot, and you have somebody mindlessly scrolling through basketball 3-point. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. We're not really trying to go viral though. We do it mostly for the internal. We call it internal marketing. We call it internal marketing, and your people are excited to hear from you. They like to see us talk to well-known people. Maybe we should do more of it. But we yeah. Thanks so much, Dovi. Thanks for your time. I know you said 45 minutes. We only burned an extra 30. Hope. Yeah, all good. Okay, thanks so much.
Dovi, appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.